Let's move on. Oh, my goodness. Okay, let's go to Dave in Missouri.
Hi, Dave.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, you're talking to Eric and Jenna. What would you like to talk about today?
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hey, I just listened to that last conversation you had, and I'm curious when you were talking about your the transitional bones. When these bones were discovered, did they come with instructions, or how do you know that these are actual human transitional bones? I mean, was there any kind of writings from that time period saying that these were transitional figures? Or, I mean, I'm just curious how you accept 100% that these bones are transitional bones, because I don't.
So Adrian, not Adrian, Dave.
That one gets me. It's just a bone that was found in the ground. How do you know it wasn't a, monkey?
Dave.
Yeah, buddy.
I didn't know if I was on mute. You kept talking. I kept trying to jump in. Why are you putting words in my mouth? I didn't say I believe with absolute certainty anything.
Putting words in your mouth. You were talking about your transitional bones, the tectonic or whatever bone.
And you said that I believe 100% a thing. I do not believe 100% that I exist. I couldn't prove to you. So why the hell would I say that about anything else?
Because you just said with your last guy you had a conversation with, you thought you guys were going to get into an argument there for a minute. So it made it sound to me like you were a big believer in the theory of evolution. Am I correct or am I wrong?
So in the same way that I believe that gravity and germ theory exist, there is...
Yeah, whatever.
Do you not think that germs exist?
Oh, I know they
Do you not believe in gravity?
Absolutely believe in it.
So then what do you mean, yeah, whatever?
That's very dismissive, Dave.
Your position, I've been listening to your program.
What's our
for a
position?
while, and your position, your atheist position.
What's our position?
Your position is that there is no God.
No, it's not.
That is your position. That no one
I've never said that.
That there's not enough proof.
I've never said that.
No, hold on. That there's not enough proof. He's
right.
But I've never said that there is no God. So I'm not
no
providing
one's giving you the proof, right?
Well, I thought he was revising. So were you revising to say, instead of us saying there is no God, you're saying that we're saying there's not enough proof?
I think that's what I gather from what I've heard from all your conversations and debates that I've listened to, is that the main contention is that there's not enough proof to any of you that there's a God, no matter what anyone presents to you in the way of archaeological evidence or a biblical or testimonial evidence of any sort from a time period from a couple thousand years ago.
Right.
It just seems like you completely you will not acknowledge the relevance of any testimonial evidence other than what's at a university somewhere that you, for whatever reason, makes sense to you. But anything from 2,000 plus years ago, it's like like you said earlier, it's a Spider-Man book that was buried in the ground and then someone dug it up.
Well,
and that just blows my mind that your rationale, that your reasoning, your inference reasoning is in that infantile state. I mean, I want to make sure I'm talking with somebody that's intelligent enough to grasp what I'm about to say.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so that's really condescending. Dave,
well, then I'm not sure that
very much so.
No, I've got this.
Okay.
Hi, Dave.
Yeah, come on, buddy.
All right. So here's how we're going to start this. If you're going to name call, you can exit the show. We're going to talk to each other respectfully and kindly. If we raise our voices, I understand it can get heated, but we're going to do our best to have a very productive conversation here. Does that sound good to you, Dave?
Sounds great. I haven't name called anybody.
You're
insulted by my observation of your show.
No, but we're going to continue. So here's how we're going to start. Geez, I don't even know where to begin. Jenna, where do I begin on this?
Do you want to know what we think about anything?
That's a good
I've
start.
got a good idea about what you think about on the subject of there being God or no God. That's really the whole platform here, is that conversation.
There's
As far as that's concerned, I don't think you guys have the information.
Okay.
You just don't have it.
Right,
Well,
that's what we're asking for.
Yeah, that's why we have a show open to be able to talk about it. So
We're hosting a show that's asking for information. Do you realize that?
And do you also realize that we're providing so
resources?
Yeah. So the example of Spider-Man in the comic book, right? Do you know why I provided that example? Let's start there.
I can't read your mind, no. Huh?
Okay, cool. Well, that means that I was doing a bad job communicating. So let me try again because I'd like to communicate that, right? We use the best tools at our disposal. We use the best tools we have to understand the world around us, right? Our mental tools, our epistemological toolbox, right?
Right.
And we use those tools to decipher everything. When you hear something from somebody, what you're doing is you're reaching back in your mind to any experiences that you had that involve you interacting in that way and that informs your choices in the future. But there are some times when we learn poorly how to determine what's true and what's not true. An example being, all of my friends did it, therefore it has to be the right thing. Right, that's something that happens, and we're like,
right.
Oh,
Peer
that
pressure, learned behavior. I get it.
Right, and so, well, it's not just learned behavior; it's learned thinking. Right, and so when the caller called up and said we had these ancient texts, what I was doing is I was giving an example, not because I want to be an asshole or anything like that, but that was the best example that I could think of that used the exact type of reasoning he was using, because he was saying it was dug up, it was really old, and therefore it was true. And I thought, you know what? Right. Let me give an example like that. Let's say I buried a Spider-Man comic for 1,000 years.
Right.
We dug up. Would that mean it was true?
It was a bit of a dramatic example, but it was...
Well, actually...
I follow you.
Actually, it's not even a dramatic example. I like using Spider-Man because it happens in New York. Because people will say, oh, well, we can look in the Bible and these places existed and they were true. And so I can, in this example, say, well, New York exists. Yeah. It's actually not an asshole example. It's a pretty damn good one just for these purposes. So I'm not trying to be a jerk. What I'm actually trying to do is point out the flaw in thinking. And I'm not even trying to say that I have all the answers. What I want to do, though, is push us as a society forward so that we can use the best tools we have at our disposal to learn the most about the world that we can. And as long as you and I are going at that together, we're not going to have a problem.
Then can we agree on this?
Sure. What's up?
Agree on the tools. The tools that you're just mentioning are minds, right? Mm-hmm. One tool is your mind, your ability to, receive data and process data. But the other tools, and the only thing we really have at our disposal, technically, is what's on this earth. Either archaeological evidence, testimonial evidence from no matter if it's from 50 years ago or 5,000 years ago. We either have something that was written on stone or written in a book or we have archaeological evidence, and that's really all we've got. Except I've got one extra thing for you.
Almost.
I've never heard anybody on your program ever bring this to light, and that's the main reason I called and sat on hold for half an hour.
If it's the thing that I want to piggyback on, perfect. If it's not, then I just want to jump in really quick.
Jump in.
Sure. Yeah. Logic.
Okay, logic is fine.
Right. So if we're talking about
logic, okay.
If we're talking about abstract concepts like the number one, or what multiplication is, or how we, determine pi, and all of those are abstract concepts that don't exist in the world that we observe, but they're concepts that we have created to describe something to each other and better understand the world. So you're saying we have nothing but, everything that we see at our disposal, and I'm saying that let's also add in abstract concepts, because this communication that we have is not all just in writing to each other, that we're able to communicate to each other and understand concepts to be able to do that. So I just wanted to add that in.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate it. And earlier, if I came across being very arrogant and condescending, I apologize for that.
Thank you so much.
I just want to put this out here to you. You guys can take this information, discard it, or hopefully research it. Do a legitimate research on it, not just swipe right with your thumb on your cell phone. I mean, do some actual research.
So I'll tell you, Dave.
If you do, I believe that you'll, well, hopefully that'll lead you to further research that I believe would be good for you.
And then do it again, because research changes.
But there are a couple things that I really want to share with you, because it would feel disingenuous to say yes, right? The first, and you've probably had this happen to you, is people will send us research and books that are thousands and thousands of pages long that they didn't look at themselves. And
I know that's right.
Yeah, right. You get that gift from somebody, and it's like, oh, you could use this book. And it's like, did you read it? No. I mean, it is so, and it bites, because I'll come back a week later with big old bags under my eyes and jittery from the coffee, and I'd be like, I read all of it. I have synthesized all of this information, and I want to talk about it. And the person who gave it to me is like, I have no idea what you're talking about, dude. I actually didn't read that crap. So long as we both agree that we need to both do the research, because otherwise it's just not fair, man. I get so much.
Yeah, no, I won't put you. I'm not trying to put you through that. I'm just trying to say that the information I'm going to present to you, if you want to research what I say, I sure hope that you will.
Okay, so what would you like us to research?
Okay, well, I'm going to take care of two issues. I'm going to kill two birds with one stone here.
Okay.
I'm going to, at least this is my belief, I'm going to prove that there is a God, and I'm going to prove which God is the right one. You know, you've got the Muslims, you've got the Hindus, Buddhists, Christians, Jews. How can you know who's right?
Dave?
I mean, that's a conversation that will never be agreed upon in my lifetime, I promise you.
No, if you're going to prove it, then obviously it would have to be agreed upon.
I want him to get to it.
Yeah, if you can prove to my satisfaction that God exists, I'll shave my head on the air.
Example.
All right.
You got it.
No, you're best. I want you to prove it.
You got it.
Okay.
I'll give you an example to make this for anybody that's listening. We're going to do this in a court of law, okay? With an American court of law.
Okay, if it goes over my head, I'm going to throw a flag, because I want to make sure that we're on the same page and it doesn't, get into a weird spill.
No, you're fine. I'm just saying, and we're going to make the attorney asking the questions and the judge. They're both atheists. They're agnostic, whatever. They don't believe one way or the other. They're not convinced.
Okay.
And we're going to march. We're just going to, for time's sake, we're just going to deal with the big three. We're just going to deal with the Muslim faith, the Christian faith, and the Jewish faith.
Fair enough.
Okay.
So just for time's sake.
Okay. So, question.
Yeah.
What do we enter into evidence?
Well, we'll bring Muhammad in first. Let's do we'll deal with the Muslim faith first. And the whole gist of this thing in the courtroom is each person presenting their case, the Muslim or the Christian or the Jew, they need to prove to the judge that the God that they believe in is the true God, to be worshipped and his teachings to be adhered to, and they need to come into the court of law and they need to prove that their God is the true God, the creator of all humanity.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's their task in the courtroom. They need to prove this.
So what's in evidence?
I agree that God needs to be proven guilty of existence.
I'm going to show you the evidence here.
Well, hold on.
Because it won't take but just a couple minutes with the Muslim faith. I can do it in about 2 minutes.
Well, hold on. What I'm asking about entering things into evidence is what physical evidence. So are we allowing 3 holy books in? Are we allowing
a cross or a nail
different
or
witnesses? What do we require for a witness?
It's going to be different. The Muslim faith has nothing more than testimonial evidence.
Okay. Let me think.
Wait.
No,
can you repeat what you just said?
They have, in the court of law, they're going to bring into the courtroom with them testimonial evidence.
Okay, so we have...
That's what they're bringing into the courtroom. Now, in our world, go back into the Muslim faith when it began, and you can bring archaeological evidence, testimonial evidence,
Sure.
all this other stuff.
So let's go through this together, Dave. If I were to bring a Muslim and ask them to go onto the stage and ask for testimonial evidence, then we need to determine whether or not that testimony is admissible in court. Has that witness met their deity? No. Has that witness directly interacted with that deity? No. How's that different from hearsay? It's hearsay. They're out of court.
Exactly. I'm going to show you that.
Okay.
And I like the way you're thinking, because
Right.
you just hit on something that is so absolutely important to this, and that's what I want to point out with me bringing forward. Actually, I'm going to say let's bring Muhammad into the courtroom. And he's going to, I'm asking him.
Muhammad obviously can't be bothered because none of us have seen Muhammad. So Muhammad didn't show up. We're throwing out the case. Let's go to Christianity. This is where I'm excited. Because it's easy enough to pick on other people, but it changes when you bring up your own.
Well, let me do this for one before you move on to Christianity. That's the point I wanted to make about the Muslim faith.
Okay.
If Muhammad existed and he walked into this courtroom and he had his Quran, and the judge asked him to prove that that is the inspired word of God, and then he was to come back and say, yes, well, the angel Gabriel told me to write these things down, and then the agnostic or atheist attorney would immediately stop him, objection, hearsay, says you.
Well,
what's your evidence? And then Muhammad might
actually
get angry and stand up and, he might stand up and shake the Quran at that attorney and say, hey, look, here's my evidence. Here's the Quran. Well,
no, Dave.
Objection, hearsay.
Dave.
That's objection, hearsay. You wrote that.
Dave, you got to take a step back because your judge has just inferred that God exists.
The who?
So in your example,
that God exists.
Yeah. So if you're in your example, you said the judge says you need to prove that is the inspired word of God, right?
Right.
That's
assuming that there is
one.
one.
That brings in a whole bunch of crap that has not been adequately. That is not a question that a judge can use. The question is does a God exist?
Prove that there's a God. Prove that there's a God. Sure, we'll do that. And then, so let's go on to the Christian. But first, let's understand the Muslim faith. Written by one man.
Yeah, I kind of want to go straight to you.
Because these are, why? Because there are, how many wars have been fought?
Well, what's the difference? Like, why are we going with Muslim instead of Christian? Why does it matter?
So the thing is
next. I have no problem going to Christian next. Let me do my little spiel, and you will understand the point I'm trying to make to prove all of this to you.
Okay, can we just kind of get to the point then? Just because we're kind of going on and on and on. We still got more callers, so can we just kind of get to the point?
That's why I was trying. I could have made my point.
Go ahead.
Just let me get to this. But the point I'm trying to make that as an atheist, the Muslim faith does not prove to any atheist that there is a God. Can we agree on that?
There is not enough evidence in the Muslim faith for a God. No. For me.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. Okay. And you, sir?
Yeah, I have not been convinced that the Muslim God exists.
Right, because it's basically just a bunch of comic books that we dug up, and that's their writings, and they believe in them.
Well, it's that it could be, and who knows?
There are tons.
Right, exactly. Who knows?
Right, who knows?
Right.
There are a ton of reasons.
Right. Okay.
But it's not just that.
Okay.
It's not just that. There are a ton of reasons.
Well, let's go to the Christian faith.
Okay. I'm excited.
Let's march me up in front of the judge, and he's telling me to prove that there's a God and that is the book of my professed God. I have to prove this.
Okay, so are you allowed to take the stand, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why?
Yes.
How is this not hearsay?
Well, he's asking me. He is asking me to prove that there's a God and to present my evidence.
Right. So first off, you're not the lawyer in this example. You're you're providing testimony, and testimony needs to be not hearsay. So how are you not presenting hearsay?
I'm about ready to show that to you if you'll let me finish it here. Okay.
I'm
going to do the same in the beginning. I'm going to do the very same thing that the Muslim did.
No, Dave. No.
I have no choice. This is what we have on the earth. These are the archaeological and testimonial evidence that we have on earth.
No, Dave, what I'm saying is it sounds like you're going from a script, and I don't want to hear someone tell a story.
I have no paperwork in front of me, dude.
Then answer me and don't just say, no, I'm not going to answer your question.
I'm trying to answer you, but you're shutting me off. I'm trying to present to you evidence, and you will not let me.
Because I'm asking you for specific things. I'm asking you.
I'm giving you specific. Is the Bible specific enough for you?
No, we haven't even gotten there, David. We will, though.
I'm trying to get there.
We will, though, eventually, yes. My first question, though, for you was, how are you able to provide testimony that's not
hearsay?
As
a witness. Not as you, but as a witness in this court.
Okay. As a witness in this court, I am presenting the evidence that just like any other attorney who defends a client wasn't there, but they have the evidence that they are presenting to a judge.
So what is the evidence?
Yeah, they weren't there, but they have the evidence.
Then you're not a witness. So you're not taking the stand. You're the lawyer.
Well, you categorize me however you want to categorize me.
Well, no. It matters.
I'm going to bring the stuff to you. I'm going to bring the facts to you. Do you want to hear them or not?
We just established the fact that you said you're a witness and then determined that you are not a witness, and then you got upset about it. Like I'm
not upset about none of this, dude. You're not letting me make. I think you know where I'm going with this, but I don't think you're going to let me present this information on your broadcast. Well, I don't think you're going to let me do it.
I'd really like you to, but I've been waiting for how long now?
Yeah, Mr. Lawyer.
You want to hear it?
What are you entering into evidence?
Okay. Do you guys agree that there's a Bible in this world?
Yes.
Do you agree? Okay. Do you know how many books are in the Bible?
No.
There are 66 books in the Bible.
Okay.
27 are in the New Testament. The rest are all found in the Old Testament.
Why are we counting books?
I'm trying to give you, these are facts, okay? These are facts.
Yeah, objection.
But why are we counting books?
Objection, relevance.
I'm just trying to tell you that you're not talking to someone that hasn't done the research.
Objection.
How do you know what
relevance.
research I've done?
Hold on. Objection, relevance.
I have no idea, but I'm just trying to tell you that I'm trying to impress upon you and any of your listeners that I am not someone just...
You two are messing up my court metaphor, and I'm really having fun here.
I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how that
works.
No,
yeah. So I'd really like to go back to court. Dave, I'm objecting relevance. You're talking about how many books are in the Bible, and I'm saying that I'm saying I object. What is the purpose of this? Otherwise, it is irrelevant.
Exactly. You're exactly right. My books, my collection of 66 books bound into one is no more impressive than the Book of Quran, except for one thing that separates it. You know what separates it from the Book of Quran and every other book on this earth?
What?
Do you know what separates it?
What?
Over 1/4 of the Bible is prophecy. There are over 1,700 prophecies that were prophesied in the Bible.
Yeah.
All of them have come to pass except for 50 of them.
What?
The book passed 1,000 in the prophecy.
Where are you getting this from?
Hold on.
Have you studied the prophecies?
Yes, I have, Dave. Now,
no, you haven't. Or if you were...
hold on.
Half of them.
Did you just put... You know what, man? If you're going to accuse me of shit that you have no idea about, this conversation's not only over, but I'm going to hang up on your ass. Don't tell me.
Done.
I don't... Yeah, you're done. Hung up on you. Listen. We followed your court metaphor. I went through with this. I was really excited. Then you went and became a jackass. That's not how this works. If you wanted to go, I was willing to follow you. Jenna was willing to follow you. And then you didn't stick the landing. Look, if we want to talk about prophecy, that's absolutely fine. We can talk about prophecy. My go-to example is in the Book of Eric. In the Book of Eric, it says that 9/11 is going to happen. Jenna, would that be, if I just wrote right now that 9/11, September 11th, 2001, 2 planes are going to fly into the World Trade Center in New York. Would that be a fantastical thing for you to read? Oh my gosh, that prophecy. No.
Well, after the fact, no.
No, of course not. But when we're talking about this, we actually can't verify what was written after the fact. And some of them we can verify that they were written after the fact. And because of that, they are not unique or special. And some of them are very, very broad. They're more like Barnum statements, and a Barnum statement is something that will apply to everyone, than as an actual clear-cut thing.
Like what?
So...
Sorry, guys, note this.
No worries, no worries. So if you look up like your star sign, it'll say things about you.
Oh, you're gonna have a great week because you're. Oh, I see.
Your friends
generalized
like you.
statements that can apply to everyone.
Love
loosely.
is on the horizon. Whatever.
There's gonna be
a
change in your life.
Yes. Eventually, there will be a change, and if you're not actually being specific.
And then it fits, and it was talking to me, and I'm so special.
And we can actually compare that against one of my favorite books. I found out that it was on Amazon. They turned it into a show. It's called Good Omens, and oh my gosh, it's so good. Neil Gaiman and Terry friggin' Pratchett, before he passed away, wrote it. And in this book, there is an actual book of prophecy, and it is 100% specific. When you're reading it, there's a part where it says your coffee is getting cold, and he looks and he's just like, like it is specific to the person at the time and no other time, and it's just
that's cool.
It's spot on. Yeah. That's what we're looking for, and that's not what we get from the Bible. If you're going to think that that's amazing, I've got some property in the desert to sell you, buddy. If not, you should expect better.